everybody, welcome back to the Lord of the Rings Online. Here's Gnarlo here. Say hello to everyone, Gnarlo. Good boy. When last we left off, we were here talking to Saradoc Brandybuck, and he was sending us searching for Dodric Brandybuck. We were starting the Old Forest investigation. And as you remember, it was Dodric is at the Bald Hill in the Old Forest. We're looking for Dodric's son, Farmer Maggot's son, Rollo, and Saradoc's nephew, Dodric. So we're going to go into the Old Forest and see if we can find them now. So let us leave Brandy Hill, leave Brandy Hall, and we're going to go in through what's called the Haygate. And that's back here at the back. We saw it before. It's the kind of sunken tunnel that goes down into the Old Forest. So right up here should be where we're going to go in. And we've got some quest rings over here on the right side too. Why don't we take a look at those right quick? Do they go into the forest?
Might I speak with you a moment?
Forest wolves. Looks like those are quests for in the forest too, so we'll grab those too. Wolves in the Old Forest have always been something of a threat to foresters and woodsmen, but they've recently become more dangerous and aggressive. We don't want them coming into Buckland, so it would be best to hunt them down now in the Old Forest itself. There's a tunnel through the high hay east of here.
Might I have a word with you?
Let's see what Hodrick wants. Forest bats. The bats of the Old Forest have been a minor annoyance in the past, but of late they have grown very aggressive and even dangerous. They could become a plague in Buckland, so we need to reduce their numbers before that happens. There's a tunnel through the high hay east of here. Alright. Let me guess what you're after. Is it bears?
Might I have a word with you?
Forest bears. How did I know? The bears of the Old Forest have always been dangerous, but in the past they were not very aggressive and could be avoided. Now they are running all over the place and may even come out of the forest to threaten Buckland if they aren't stopped. And let me guess, there's a tunnel through the high hay east of here. So we'll take that one too. So bats and wolves and bears, oh my. Bats and wolves and bears, oh my. Alright, we got one more. Tolly Brockhouse. Let's see what Tolly has to say.
Could I take a moment of your time?
The Woodcutter's Tale. These are strange days. Most hobbits stay away from the Old Forest, but my living depends on it, and I've never had any problems until now. The forest creatures have gone all strange. I swear the tree roots themselves moved to trip me up, and now I've sprained my ankle. Why are you holding your elbow? I still need to collect some mushrooms. They grow in the west part of the forest, between the Bonfire Glade and Bald Hill. Also, bring in some lumber from my seasoning pile. The pile is to the east, past the Bonfire Glade, and a little south. And I need some sap from the old maple on Bald Hill, east of the Bonfire Glade. I'll gladly split my fee with you. Here, take my bucket for the sap, and thank you kindly. Okay. So let us see. We can move on into the Old Forest and get some of these quests accomplished. Alright, so we are entering into the Old Forest. We should see, once again, everything change here in a few moments. Ooh, and here's savory mushrooms. Already got quite a few of them here that we can pick up. Fortunately, being a hobbit, we know the difference between savory mushrooms and the deadly toadstools. It's just kind of an innate trait with us. Alright, so savory mushrooms shouldn't be very hard to find whatsoever. They'll be scattered all along the trail here, I can see. We'll see the fog come rolling in. There we go. So here comes the fog, here comes the noises, and here comes the general just unhappy ambiance. Okay, I'm going to grab these ash branches over here, and then we will continue on into the Old Forest. next thing I need to work on, off camera, is to go into one of the crafting zones and see if I can get my ash leveled up so that I can start collecting. I think yew is the next category of wood that you have to collect. So I'll be able to collect yew after this. But I've got to get this part done first. Okay, let's see. Any more mushrooms? There's another one. This is the bonfire glade, by the way. The bonfire glade was, they talk about it in The Lord of the Rings. In the book, in the part of the book Into the Old Forest, I think is, or The Old Forest, I think is the name of the chapter. And the bonfire glade, Mary talks about once the trees attacked Buckland. Said they came all the way over to the hedge and leaned over it and actually tried to put their sprouts and roots over the hedge into Buckland. And said the Bucklanders came into the old forest here and cut down massive amounts of trees, piled them all up here and made a big, big bonfire and burned trees. And said after that the forest has never tried to attack Buckland, but it's always been very, very unfriendly ever since then. And they also said that here in the bonfire glade the trees have never grown back. It's almost like they remember it and either are scared of it or hold it as a memory of why they hate the hobbits. So now on up this way, you just continue traveling east from Bonfire Glade, and you'll notice there is a path. I believe there are actually torches along this path as well, if I remember correctly. There's another savory mushroom. I have to kind of look for them. Sometimes they're hidden a little bit. They can grow behind trees and things. Alright. And I've ran into an invisible wall, so I have to go from this side. Okay, so that's 6. I only need 2 more savory mushrooms. Let's get back to the path. Definitely got some bears, and there's some... What is that? Alright, just shadows. Even now that the old forest can freak me out. Got some gloom wings, those are the bats. Definitely got some bears traveling about. Haven't seen any wolves yet, but we should see those shortly. They'll be around in this area as well. And I think we are coming up on Bald Hill here. Now this is the hill where in the book, after the hobbits came into the forest for a ways, they saw a big hill rising up ahead of them that didn't have any trees on it. And the sun was shining and it was warm and stuffy, and they decided that they were going to... there we go, and the first forest hunter. We'll go ahead and take him out. They decided that they were going to take a break there. They had their lunch and then they laid down and took a nap. And when they woke up, the forest had kind of moved in around them. Oh! There we go. That wasn't much of a much. Like I said, that right up there is Bald Hill. Let's see if we can sneak in between these 2 bears here. As you see, it is a little bit more of a friendly place. This and Tom Bombadil's house are about the only 2 real places you could describe as semi-pleasant in the entire old forest. But here's Dodric, and he's waiting for us. So let's see what he has to say about him and Rollo. Why are they here, and where is Rollo?
Hello?
Uncle Saradoc is waiting for me. That bodes ill. I wish Rollo would hurry along. I cannot leave until he returns. We were chasing a brigand through here. We saw him sneaking about the gate and thought we'd best do the bounder's job for them. I confess that I lost my nerve as we crested this hill and I saw the full scope of the forest. Rollo is a different sort, though, always comfortable to wander through these winding trails. There's an abandoned college along the Withy Windle, southeast of here. He made mention of heading that way, but it seems like hours ago. Perhaps you could find him there and tell him to hurry on back. So we need to go down to the Withy Windle and see if we can't find Rollo down there. Alright, we need to get a bucket of sap. Gotten the savory mushrooms. Excuse me. And we have an empty bucket. A bucket suitable for collecting sap. So let's go ahead and tap this maple. See if that'll fill up our bucket. It did. So we only need 2 more mushrooms and we need to find some seasoned lumber. I don't see any more mushrooms out this way. Definitely some of the roots that he talks about, and we've had our experiences with them before when we were out killing trees. Alright. So what we're going to do is we're going to travel down the trail. And which direction did he say it was? To the southeast Bald Hill. Okay, so that's going to be down and this way. We're going to follow the trail. At least a little ways. And the Withy Windle, that is the river that runs down. We saw it earlier whenever we had to, when we went down that way for Tom Bombadil to collect the lilies for Goldberry. We went down right next to Old Man Willow and collected the lilies down there. And that is the Withy Windle, is the river that he sits in the middle of. Well, it's not really a river, it's more of a creek, I suppose. But it's a river to a hobbit. So we'll continue on down this way. So yes, Rollo has gone all the way down to the very heart of the weirdness that inhabits the old forest. Tom Bombadil himself, or I think it was not Tom Bombadil, it was Meriadoc that said that is where all the weirdness of the old forest comes from. Tom Bombadil said that all the problems came from Old Man Willow, that he was the spirit of the forest that kind of loomed over and controlled the whole forest here. Let's see, disabling attack. So we need to use disable against an enemy 600 times to get the disabling attack skill. And that'll be a class skill. So which one is disabling attack? That's going to be... I guess it's my trick. Disable, yep. I guess we've got to use disable to 600 times in order to get the class skill for it. Alright. Let's go on down the hill here. See if we can get closer down to where the Withy Windle is. Travel the path. And we should be coming to the banks of it soon. And I know it's not far along the banks that you'll find that cottage, that old abandoned burned out cottage. And hopefully Rollo will be next door to it. Uh-oh, there's Old Man Willow. Okay, I know we don't want to go that way, so let's head this way. I think we've gone a little too far east and not enough south. So we'll continue on down and see what we find along the banks of the Withy Windle here. Oh, I didn't know you could swim when you're sneaking as well. That's a good thing to know. Alright, this should be the cabin right up here. Not exactly what you would consider to be a friendly summer home. Okay, I haven't gotten lost, have I? Yeah, there we go. There's the ring appearing. There's the abandoned cabin. Yeah, so we turned one path too soon. There's a path that goes right behind the cottage there. That's the one that we should have taken. Let's see. I don't see any dangers around, so let's come out a sneak so we don't scare poor little Rollo there. He may be a hobbit of a different sort, but still no need to scare the pants off of him. Right up there, I believe, is the path that we would have come down. Alright, let's talk to Rollo. He's holding a knife, and there's a brigand on the ground in front of him.
Oh,
Let's see what he
gracious
says
me!
to say. He tried to kill me. I'll gut you like a fish and then your girl, he said, or I'll make certain you never see your lovely again. I didn't mean for this to happen, but he threatened Celandine. I couldn't let him hurt her, could I? All I wanted was to get the notes I wrote for Celandine from him. You can't treat people like that. Good, honest hobbits we are. Didn't want to hurt nobody. I'm going to stay here and give him an honest burial at least. Could you tell Dodrick that I'm all right? But please, don't tell him about any of this, will you? Could you take these two, show them to Dodrick? He'll understand. This doesn't feel the way I thought it would. So he's finding out that killing people is a little bit tougher than you think. I guess he's, when he says take these and show them to Dodrick, I guess he gave you some notes, perhaps? Let's see. Ah, there we go. No, that's not it. This one? Map to Ceriden's Lodge. That's not it. Here we go. Old Forest Guide. This must be the one that he wrote. Let's see. I am something of an expert on the Old Forest, having walked there since I was very young. I hope this small guide, work in progress though it is, will be helpful to those who wish to enjoy a nice stroll in the forest during the summer months. I hope to get it published when it's done, but for now I consider it a personal tour. Bonfire Glade. The Bonfire Glade is right near the entrance. You just came through the tunnel under the hedge, and then head east till you get there. There are two fairly clear paths at the eastern and southern edges of the cleared space. If you head south, the trees get close on the left, so take the right path and follow it around the east to Little Bald Hill. Keep moving east, it slopes upward as you go, and ignore any side paths. You'll reach Bald Hill. Bald Hill. I like to sit underneath the only tree on its crown on sunny days. There's a good breeze up there above the canopy. Be careful if you want to go back to Bonfire Glade from here. Two paths lead westward, the one you probably came from and another one that's more northerly. I don't usually go up that way since I once saw a wolf up there and it gave me a fright. The path south of Bald Hill will take you down to the Willows. Old Muddyfoot's Hill. Now don't ask me who Old Muddyfoot was, because that I don't know. This isn't so much a hill, it is a big rock sitting in a clearing. It's a good landmark if you've gotten lost, though, since you can usually hear the toads away in the marsh to the south. The Bonfire Glade and Bald Hill are northwest and northeast, respectively, but the path shifts sometimes, and it's sometimes hard to find the trails, especially around dusk. Bullfrog Hollow. This area is just south of Old Muddyfoot's Hill. Be careful where you step here, since the mud can get a good grip on your feet. I've squelched back home on many a summer days, tracking muddy prints through the whole forest. Come to think of it, this is probably where Old Muddyfoot got his name, whoever he was. If you can work your way east and north along the Withywindle from here, you'll find a cottage, but you're probably better off avoiding it. The man who lives there isn't very friendly. If you keep bearing northerly, you'll eventually be able to go west to the Bonfire Glade or east to Bald Hill. Cottage. Stillwell isn't very nice, and won't even nod if he sees you passing. I don't think he likes hobbits. I try not to walk too near to his cottage, which suits us both fine, I think. It's right on the river, so if you see his cook fire, you can find another path. Be careful if avoiding Stillwell brings you up the slope northwest of his cottage. The trees up there seem distrustful of outsiders, and I haven't managed to find any paths back to familiar places in that direction. The Shade Pool. I've only found this shady pool once, and the trees seem to be in different places now. It was east and south of Stillwell's cottage, I think, at the bottom of a sloping hill, but the trees have shifted and you can't go that way as easily anymore. I think if you cross the Withywindle south of the cottage and keep your eyes peeled for a path heading east, you can work your way east and eventually north. If the trees cooperate and my sense of direction is working, two things that are unsure inside the forest, you should be able to hook a left immediately after hitting an open space and work your way west to the shady pool. The dale was very foggy, but it was a pretty place. Old Man Willow. If you follow the Withywindle east, you'll eventually come to a pleasant shore dominated by a truly gigantic willow. This is Old Man Willow, who they call the king of the forest. Tales say he doesn't care for people who walk on legs, but I've never had any problems with him, so I suppose those are just old wives' tales. Still, it's a nice place for fishing if the bugs don't come out. Tom Bombadil's house. Away to the east side of the forest, old Tom Bombadil has lived in the forest with his wife Goldberry since time out of mind. There's some tall tales about old Tom, and I have to say he makes me feel kind of young and small when he talks to me. But the one thing you can be sure of with Tom Bombadil is there's no harm in him, and nothing for any hobbit to fear in his company. Alright, so that is the Guide to the Old Forest as produced by Old Farmer Maggin. So let's head on back to Bald Hill and see if we can give Rollo got some spiders up there. Like he said, the path that comes down comes down behind is not the safest path to travel. So we'll head back to Old Man Willow and head back up west and north, so we can get back up there to where Dodric is waiting for us. Okay. So on up the hill. Was it this way? Yes, there we go. I think we got a wolf on our tail, so why don't we go ahead and take him out. We'll add another one to our combat count here that we need. So these wolves don't count on the count for us. We need to defeat the ones in the western forest, and this doesn't count. But it's experience. And it's a loot, so we will take it. Alright. Almost forgotten about the mushrooms. We still need to collect a couple of those, don't we? There we go. That got all the mushrooms out of the way. So we got to find the seasoned lumber as well. And I'm wanting to think... Alright, there's Bald Hill. We came down to the southeast. I'm wanting to say... It's down this way to the southwest, because there are two paths, if I remember correctly, that lead... No, just the one. Alright, let's get back up here, talk to Dodric, and then I'll see if I can... I'll have time to look at the... I'll have time to look at the quest and see where the seasoned pile is. There we go. We're back to where we got the wolves that we need for the quest now. And the bats and the bears. And there's another mushroom if we had needed one. Alright, let's talk to Dodric.
Is there something I can do for you?
So glad to know that Rollo is all right. That's such a relief. What is this? Maggot's notes to Celandine, and there's some reference here that make it seem No wonder he wanted to recover these from that man. Here, take them on to Celandine. She should see what Rollo thinks of her. Got some love notes in the margins, do we? Alright, so we need to collect the seasoned lumber. Mushrooms are found. The wood can be collected from the woodcutter seasoning pit east of the bonfire glade and a little south. So we need to go back to the bonfire glade. And then I think we're going to need to go south out of it and then to the east. We'll take out this forest hunter while we're at it. Alright, so it's back to the bonfire glade. The other thing that's going on right now in the game is the 5th anniversary celebrations going on. It goes on for 5 more days. It's through April 30th. I've been running quite a bit of it on my main character, Glennoran. Seems like they're heavy into fireworks this year. Almost every quest has something to do with fireworks. And I've got to say, I'm really enjoying them. They're very pretty. If you remember, I also talked about the big Dwarven Beer Bash. That has come back this year. Alright, let's take out this forest hunter. So the Dwarven Beer Bash over at Thorin's Hall has come back, but it seems like, let's see, is it this way? Let's try down here and see if we see us. There's the seasoned lumber pile. Okay. Yep, there's the wood pile. So let's go over here to the wood pile and collect some wood for him, shall we? Okay, so we collected seasoned lumber as well. So now it's back to the north, and then a little west, and we'll be back at the bonfire glade. But as I was saying, this year the beer bash has returned, the tavern brawl over at Thorin's Hall, and it's as much fun as it used to be. But the reward has changed. For you don't get the beer trophy any longer, the big beer mug trophy. Now the only thing, there's 3 different levels for it, and you get 1, 2, or 3 festival tokens. So I haven't checked all the vendors to see if it's possible to buy the beer trophy, the tavern trophy, or if it's just a case of it's just not going to be offered anymore. One of those things that if you were around early enough, you would have, playing since the beginning when it was first in, you would have picked up the trophy, and now it's just not available. That may be true. I'm going to have to check, like I said, and check all the barter people and see if you can still get it. Here's Tolly.
What do you need?
My thanks, friend, for all your... What's this? This sap, it's already gone bad. And my seasoned wood, it's rotted. And these mushrooms, they're poisonous. Friend, you can't be blamed, but all this, it's useless to me.
Please stay a moment.
Remember what I said about a hobbit's natural ability to tell mushrooms from toadstools? Just ignore me in the future, I'm going to. New trouble in the old forest. All the things you've gathered from me are useless, rotten, and ruined. Something queer is going on, what with the animals all upset and the forest seeming, well, more awake than usual. There's a wise old hobbit, a forester, who oft camps a ways into the old forest. Look for him beyond old Muddyfoot's hill, which you can find southeast of the bonfire glade. Maybe Gilly knows what's going on. I'd appreciate it if you talk to him. Gilliman Brandybuck, that's his name. I'm worried. We had to burn part of the forest when it got too uppity years back, but this is far worse than it was before. If the Bounders have to start another fire, they might destroy the whole forest. And then where would we be? So we'll have to go back in and find Gilliam Brandybuck. Right now, let's go and talk to Celandine. give her Rollo's notes and see if it makes her blush and puts a mischievous gleam in her eye. Always say a hobbit's day has been well spent if he can make a young hobbit lass blush and get a mischievous gleam in her eye. Along with the festival, like I said, I'll be showing you part of that. Probably in the next episode, we'll go and hit some of the highlights of the festival. I'll also pull out Gnarlo. He's gotten a couple of the horses. There are 3 horses available this year. An anniversary horse, a fireworks horse, and then there's another horse that is a reward for those of us that have been around for 5 years. I'll pull this up. As you see, you get reward things. The 3-year gift box gives you sturdy keys, which goes with the lock boxes that you find. The 4-year gift box gives you fine dress or matching tunic. The 1-year gift box gives you fireworks. The 2nd-year gift box gives you some celebratory boosts. And there's the 5-year gift box. If this is your 5th anniversary in the game, you get the festival steed. So I would definitely show you that on Gnarlo when I log him in. Let's give the notes to Celandine.
Good day.
Oh, these are notes on the old forest from Rollo Maggot. Oh my, the boy is sweet on me, it seems. He is such a wonderful lad. I'd never noticed this before. Thank you, Gnarlo. I will be certain to put these to good use. Alrighty then. Now we need to talk to Wilmac Brandybuck in Newberry. There's Wilmac. Whoop. Why didn't the Bounders take him out? Somebody had to run a long ways to get away from that bear. Let's talk to Wilmac and let him know what Rollo and them are up to.
Please leave me to my sorrow.
You found him. He's coming back soon, and I can finish all I set out to do. For that you deserve something. It may not be much, I fear, but here, please take it as of use to you. You have no idea how much you have helped me. So let's see. We get Torang. Alright, that's decent. We get some mushroom pies. Now, do we want vitality? Do we want might? Or do we want agility? What is our lowest stat? Might, vitality, and agility. Might is our lowest stat, so why don't we take some eggs and onions that'll help boost up our might for a period of time. Alright, and we have finished Old Forest Investigation. Okay, I think that's where we're going to call it for this episode. I'm on vacation for the next 2 weeks, so I should be able to put up more than 1 a week. I'm hoping to shoot for at least 3 a week, but the 2 a week will definitely be possible. So look for some more here shortly. I have not forgotten the epic quest either. We are on, actually, what are we at? We're level 20, and the epic quest chapter 10 is, I think, level 19. So we should be able to go into the old forest now and find the Crebain and their master. For I think it's Tom Bombadil that sent us to do that. So we'll be able to go run that quest for Tom. So this is Gnarlo signing out, and while he sits here and has a nice little smoke here in Brandybuck, we hope you're having a good week, and thank you for watching, and we will see you next time.